especially in advertising. It should not be assumed that old things must be better than new things. See the fallacy appeal to tradition. Any more than it should be assumed that new things are better than old things. The age of thing does not, in general, have any bearing on its quality or correctness. In this context, obviously, age does have a bearing in some contexts. For example, if a person concluded that his day-old milk was better than his 2-month-old milk, he would not be committing an appeal to novelty. This is because, in such cases, the newness of the thing is relevant to its quality. Thus, the fallacy is committed only when the newness is not, in and of itself, relevant to the claim. Examples of appeal to novelty. A made-up advertisement. This it is like 900 pump-up shoe. It is better because it is new. Two business people are having a discussion. James. So, what is this new plan? Biff. Well, the latest thing in marketing techniques is the GK method. It is the latest thing out of the think tank. It is so new that the ink on the reports is still drying. James. Well, our old marketing method has been quite effective. I don't like the idea of jumping to a new method without a good reason. Biff. Well, we know that we have to stay on the cutting edge. That means new ideas and new techniques have to be used. The GK method is new, so it will do better than that old dusty method. A professor is lecturing to his class. Professor. So you can see that a new and better morality is sweeping the nation. No longer are people with alternative lifestyles ashamed. No longer are people caught up in the outmoded moralities of the past. Student. Well, what about the ideas of the great thinkers of the past? They have some valid points. Professor. A good question. The answer is that they had some valid points in their own barbaric times. But those are old, moldy moralities from a time long gone. Now is a time for new moralities. Progress and all that, you know. Student. So would you say that the new moralities are better because they are newer? Professor. Exactly. Just as the dinosaurs died off to make way for new animals, the old ideas have to give way for the new ones. And just as humans are better than dinosaurs, the new ideas are better than the old. So newer is literally better. Student. I see. Fallacy. Appeal to pity. Also known as ad misericordiam. Description of appeal to pity. An appeal to pity is a fallacy in which a person substitutes a claim intended to create pity for evidence in an argument. The form of the argument is as follows. P is presented, with the intent to create pity. Therefore claim C is true. This line of reasoning is fallacious because pity does not serve as evidence for a claim. This is extremely clear in the following case. You must accept that 1 plus 1 equals 46, after all I am dying. While you may pity me because I am dying, it would hardly make my claim true. This fallacy differs from the appeal to the consequences of a belief. ACB. In the ACB fallacy, a person is using the effects of a belief as a substitute for evidence. In the appeal to pity, it is the feelings of pity or sympathy that are substituted for evidence. It must be noted that there are cases in which claims that actually serve as evidence also evoke a feeling of pity. In such cases, the feeling of pity is still not evidence. The following is an example of a case in which a claim evokes pity and also serves as legitimate evidence. Professor. You missed the midterm, Bill. Bill. I know. I think you should let me take the makeup. Professor. Why? Bill. I was hit by a truck on the way to the midterm. Since I had to go to the emergency room with a broken leg, I think I am entitled to a makeup. Professor. I am sorry about the leg, Bill. Of course you can make it up. The above example does not involve a fallacy. While the professor does feel sorry for Bill, she is justified in accepting Bill's claim that he deserves a makeup. After all, getting run over by a truck would be a legitimate excuse for missing a test. Examples of appeal to pity. Jill. He'd be a terrible coach for the team. Bill. He had his heart set on the job, and it would break if he didn't get it. Jill. I guess he'll do an adequate job. I am positive that my work will meet your requirements. I really need the job since my grandmother is sick. I should receive an A in this class. After all, if I don't get an A, I won't get the fellowship that I want. Fallacy. Appeal to popularity. Also known as ad populum. Description of appeal to popularity. The appeal to popularity has the following form. Most people approve of X. Have favorable emotions towards X. Therefore X is true. The basic idea is that a claim is accepted as being true simply because most people are favorably inclined towards the claim. More formally, the fact that most people have favorable emotions associated with the claim is substituted in place of actual evidence for the claim. A person falls prey to this fallacy if he accepts a claim as being true simply because most other people approve of the claim. It is clearly fallacious to accept the approval of the majority as evidence for a claim. For example, suppose that a skilled speaker managed to get most people to absolutely love the claim that 1 + 1 = 3. It would still not be rational to accept this claim simply because most people approved of it. After all, mere approval is no substitute for a mathematical proof. At one time people approved of claims such as the world is flat. Humans cannot survive at speeds greater than 25 miles per hour. The sun revolves around the earth, but all these claims turned out to be false. This sort of reasoning is quite common and can be quite an effective persuasive device. Since most humans tend to conform with the views of the majority, convincing a person that the majority approves of a claim is often an effective way to get him to accept it. Advertisers often use this tactic when they attempt to sell products by claiming that everyone uses and loves their products. In such cases, they hope the people will accept the purported approval of others as a good reason to buy the product. This fallacy is vaguely similar to such fallacies as appeal to belief and appeal to common practice. However, in the case of an ad populum, the appeal is to the fact that most people approve of a claim. In the case of an appeal to belief, the appeal is to the fact that most people believe a claim. In the case of an appeal to common practice, the appeal is to the fact that many people take the action in question. This fallacy is closely related to the appeal to emotion fallacy, as discussed in the entry for that fallacy. Examples of appeal to popularity. My fellow Americans. There has been some talk that the government is overstepping its bounds by allowing police to enter people's homes without the warrants traditionally required by the Constitution. However, these are dangerous times, and dangerous times require appropriate actions. I have in my office thousands of letters from people who let me know, in no uncertain terms, that they heartily endorse the war against crime in these United States. Because of this overwhelming approval, it is evident that the police are doing the right thing. I read the other day that most people really like the new gun control laws. I was sort of suspicious of them, but I guess if most people like them, then they must be okay. Jill and Jane have some concerns that the rules their sorority has set are racist in character. Since Jill is a decent person, she brings her concerns up in the next meeting. The president of the sorority assures her that there is nothing wrong with the rules, since the majority of the sisters like them. Jane accepts this ruling, but Jill decides to leave the sorority. Fallacy. Appeal to ridicule. Also known as appeal to mockery, the horse laugh. Description of appeal to ridicule. The appeal to ridicule is a fallacy in which ridicule or mockery is substituted for evidence in an argument. This line of reasoning has the following form: X, which is some form of ridicule, is presented, typically directed at the claim.